Good afternoon, Mr. Kashparov. Mr. Kashparov is a doctor of biology professor, and he is director of the Agricultural Radiology Institute. It is an institution within the National Academy of Sciences. He participated in the rescue work from the very beginning of this work in Chernobyl, and his institute developed the radioactive contamination maps, basic maps in this very area. And today's discussion would not be valid and comprehensive without his participation. And with him, we will be speaking about the development of science in the exclusion zone. My first question would be as follows. What areas of research do you think to be the most topical and to be the most promising? Many people believe that what Ukraine has is only the exclusion zone, and that would be it. But that's not so. And even local, the main authority here is the state agency for the exclusion zone management. But there's also a zone of mandatory relocation of people covering 86 settlements in Zhytomyr, Kiev, and some even in Chernihiv regions, the village of Rychkovka, where the population has been relocated. But the doses are so low now that they can return, and I go fishing there once a year. That's a wonderful village. And there's one larger zone of guaranteed voluntary relocation, 81 settlements in 8 regions of Ukraine. Over the 30 years, since 1991, when the special law was adopted, the zoning was not revised. And those zones were established by the Cabinet of Ministers, and people have been living in those zones for 30 years now. But the situation has improved dramatically. The contamination has reduced dramatically. The radioactivity of the major radionuclide has halved. And it's the crunch time for us to revise those zones of radioactive contamination in order to return some of those areas into the national economy and to allow people to go back to their homes. And when the second zone was being established, radiationally hazardous lands where no agriculture is possible, no habitation of people is possible. So according to the latest data of dosimetric passportization, 10 years carried out 10 years ago, there was not a single settlement where people would be living and which could be referred to that zone. Even in the third zone, according to the 2012 data, only 25% settlements met the requirements of the third zone of radioactive contamination. The third zone with the doses more than 1 millisievert. And those lands are believed to be the actively contaminated zones. The lands with lower contamination doses or levels are not hazardous. Now, there are less than 10 settlements that can be treated as belonging to the radioactively contaminated ones. Unfortunately, over the last 9 years, since 2012, we haven't had any official data on real exposure, on real contamination doses, because there is no passportization. This passportization should be carried out on an annual basis, but unfortunately, since 2012, we haven't got them. And even the 2012 data testifies that the number of such settlements in Ukraine is small, and the major issue in those settlements related with the formation of the dose is just because of the consumption of foodstuffs grown locally, mostly meat. And there are some countermeasures that allow us to use special additives that absorb cesium. For example, milk with less than 1 picogram, and the irradiation of less than 1 millisievert. Unfortunately, since 2012, no countermeasures have been taken to further protect the population.